You're listening to the What's Happening podcast with Gary Watts.
Good morning. I'm here with Ryan Faul with Junge Automotive, and you're the general manager, right? Did I get that right?
Sure. Yeah.
Good. Of everything of Junge?
No. I'm just the Junge North Liberty.
Right.
Yep.
And in North Liberty, let me guess here. I'm going to go through it. You have Fords, BMWs, Lincolns.
That is
Ford trucks.
Yep.
What else? What am I missing?
Well, we have obviously used cars. But you nailed it.
I did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jeez,
the Lincoln store. So unless it's you picking up a vehicle, we we usually do Cedar Rapids there.
Cedar Rapids has that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have stores. Go through where all your stores are. Let me guess again.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a guessing game. Cedar Rapids, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Center Point.
We used to.
Ooh.
A lot of people think that still too.
See?
Yep.
You caught me.
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Where else? Just CR North Liberty?
CR North Liberty. We have 3 body shops too. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Abra, in Iowa City, North Liberty, and then in Hiawatha right by the Cedar Rapids store, which you're Mazda, Lincoln, Volvo there.
Oh, okay. So all
yeah.
those models. So
Yeah.
So you're right off the interstate 380.
Both stores. We make it easy.
Both stores right off
Yep.
380,
Yep.
so easy to get to.
Easy, very
Great,
easy
great.
to get to. Yep.
Well, let's go back. I love to talk to guests about high school. You start out, where are you from? Tell us a little about what you did in high school, college, sports, whatever. Not dating. I don't really care about that. But just tell us a little about where you're from and how you got here, and just a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm actually from northern Minnesota. Not a lot of people know that.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Ely?
Yep. Fertile, Minnesota is actually what it's called.
Fertile. Okay, I'll leave that alone.
Yeah. But we moved here, and my dad got a job at Rockwell when I was 5 or 6 years old. Grew up on the northwest side of Cedar Rapids, so I'm a Jefferson Jayhawk from there. So
okay. Was your dad an engineer?
Yeah, yep, engineer there. Mom worked at Mercy in Cedar Rapids. Still does. They both. Well, actually, Dad just now is with BAE. They switched from Collins to BAE now.
You ever talk about defense systems? Iron Dome, Golden Dome. He probably can't. Can he?
He can't, but we've had some conversations, some cool stuff too, like super futuristic things that are going on right now. That he should be retired, but I swear he is like a whole new man with all this new stuff he's doing with BAE. So he enjoys it. But yeah, they brought us here. Again, grew up inside of the Cherry Hill area. Are you familiar with that in Cedar Rapids?
Yeah,
but grew up there and played baseball, basketball, did some football in high school. Both my loves were basketball and baseball. But
what did you play in baseball? What position?
Center field and pitcher.
Really?
Yeah.
Curveball, slider?
Curveball.
Did you?
Didn't have a
right-handed or left?
I was righty.
So you couldn't jam those guys?
No. Actually, a funny story when I was because I was kind of wild. I was kind of a wild pitcher, but my coach, Gordy Norgan, great guy, very very knowledgeable baseball. Was at Kirkwood. He played semi-professional ball too. Brought me in one time, and we were getting just smoked by Cedar Falls. And he goes, "Hey, go in there." And they were just stealing. And the only time that anybody's ever said, "Throw it at him, just throw at him," and I'm like,
hit him.
Yeah, throw at him. The only time that somebody tells me to, and I can't do it. We were talking about that the other day. Couldn't get it done.
You throw it across the plate, then you
yeah. It was behind him in front. Yeah. So yeah, Gordy was in. We were talking about that. That was a fun time. But baseball has, probably been my. I love baseball. My grandfather was actually has 2 College World Series rings, Golden Gophers back in the day. He was a pitcher.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Drafted by the New York Giants back in the day. What year? 65 and 66. Yeah.
Wow.
So we got
Whitey Ford and Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris.
Yeah. My mom, we were sitting there talking to him, and he has all those stories.
Yeah.
Like, because, he made it to the pros, but he hurt his arm right away. But he pitched against those guys, so it's interesting here. I said, you should have write a book.
Oh, absolutely.
But he's passed now a couple of years ago. But
then there's a guy that was from Iowa that was one of the best, Bob Feller.
Yeah.
Pitcher. I've probably heard of him, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Bob Feller, Van Meter, Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well known in the pros. So just some farm kid from Iowa.
Yeah.
Kind of neat.
Yeah. You're growing up. We were a perfect game. You've heard of perfect game. Yeah. So we were part of that group, and Von Sko, he was my pitching coach. So that name's huge in Norway and all that stuff. Like baseball.
What was your fastest fastball?
87 is what I got up to.
If you're going to say 75, I was going to give you a hard time. 87 is still moving it, right?
Yeah. Well, when I was playing was back in I don't know if you heard of Ryan Sweeney.
No.
One of the best baseball players from this area. He went and played for the Cubs, White Sox. he was throwing, 80, 97, 98 lefty too. So,
Oh,
when we were batting
nobody
against
could
him,
hit him.
oh no, yeah, it was unbelievable. But yeah, he went to Xavier's, but yeah.
Right. So Jeff,
Mhm.
then what happened?
Kirkwood.
Kirkwood.
Yep.
Okay.
Kirkwood went there for a little while. Actually, I don't know. It was something that just wasn't fit for me at the time. Was going to go play baseball there too.
Oh, really?
Yep.
They got a great program, don't
yeah.
they?
Coach Lewis does a good
Boys
job.
and
out there.
girls,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. All
Yeah.
involved. I mean, all the sports pretty much.
Yeah.
he's done a
Golf.
good
I mean,
job.
the whole thing's
Yeah.
really good.
That's what I should have done.
Yeah.
If I could do it all over again, I'd play golf.
Yeah.
you know?
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Do
yeah.
you play golf now?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. I love golf.
What handicap?
Oh.
Humor me a little. Be honest.
I don't even know what
Is
it
it
would
over
be.
20?
You'd probably.
Don't tell me
You
you're
go-
a 5.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
no,
don't
no,
believe
no,
you.
no. My parents live out on Amana, so we go out there quite often.
That's a tight course.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Yeah, very
Hilly.
very nice.
Got to hit it straight.
Got to hit
right?
it straight. Yeah. Well, the hills can kind of help you.
Yeah.
You know, if it's the angle, they bounce off and roll back into the fairway. So it's
First
not
time
bad.
I played it, I go, man, where's it? Tree,
Yeah,
tree,
yeah.
tree.
Yeah.
You got to hit
so-
it straight, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So a little bit of basketball, huh?
Yeah. Basketball was
Shooting guard, Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
You can't
Caitlin
shoot
Clark.
from 35
Did you see
feet.
that?
Yeah.
Did you watch any of that? Oh my goodness.
I hope she runs for president because
Yes.
I'd vote for her.
Oh,
but
me too.
what was it, 36 feet? I don't know how long it is, but I wouldn't. You're just getting across the center line.
Yeah.
30 seconds to go, and she shoots from that logo thing and made it. It had the biggest smile on her face.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that's happened in Iowa sports.
Oh my goodness. Iowa. I mean, everywhere. I mean, this girl's been everywhere. Wow. She's
just
something else.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. I played a little ball, but we didn't have 3-point thing back then. But even past that, I think if we'd have shot past that, we'd have been you're on the bench.
You're on the bench. Yeah.
But she shoots.
She's
she
opened
starts
up-
looking at
Yeah.
it
Oh yeah.
past the center line.
Yeah. It is unbelievable what she can do. She's even. The whole hype before the game, even all the crowd, everybody's.
It was sold out in 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
15,000 sold out. Let's say 30 minutes. Give it the benefit of the doubt.
Oh sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Could you imagine being a teammate? You know what I mean?
Well, you better be awake to get the ball
Well, yeah.
because she has passes that are just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you don't even know where it's coming from.
Yeah, I was on watching Instagram. They were walking out of the hotel as one individual at a time, but they're all wearing Caitlin Clark shirts and stuff too. So it'd be fun to be a teammate. And, she's just been an amazing person for everybody around here too, as well. Like you said,
She's a representative of Iowans, and
Mm-hmm.
she has such a presence when she's interviewed or talking to people.
Yeah.
She doesn't lose her cool. She always has a great presence of what she says.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
oh,
She's just truly amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So we're at Kirkwood. Then what'd you do?
So I
You
actually,
wanted to golf,
and I just
and you didn't golf.
no.
What'd you major in?
Actually, was in. I didn't finish it all the way, but I was wanted to be in law enforcement, to be honest.
Whoa.
So that's a curveball, yeah. So you know me,
A narc
you've known
or-
me for a while, yeah. I had a really good friend of mine in high school. Her father was a DEA agent, and we'd go to their house, and he'd come home, and he had like really nice cars, undercover stuff,
Long hair?
Yeah, long hair, big,
Very-
just built too.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, and so I went and went to do that at Kirkwood and business, obviously business stuff. So yeah.
Then what happened? How'd you get in business when you went from being an ICE agent? Or a DEA?
Well, when I was at Kirkwood, I went and worked with my dad at Rockwell, and I actually was on the line soldering handheld GPS units. And I still have little scars on my hand from the little solder because you're looking through microscopes and you're putting these tiny little things, circuit board on there. And so from there,
Is that a military GPS? that
yeah.
Guys
Yep.
on the ground are using?
Yep. It was pretty cool to be part of that. But it just wasn't me, like I like having the conversations, with people. Like when I interview people today, the first thing I'm looking at is if they can have a conversation, It's kind of like in sports, you can't teach speed. You can make somebody a little faster, but you either have speed or you don't. And in sales, you either can talk to somebody or you just can't. And so you got to get.
Where does that come from? You obviously teach salesmen and salespeople, right?
I don't know if somebody's probably made that up, but that's just something I've always lived with. It's the first thing and you think of interviewing somebody and you have a list of questions that you have. And I've never been that type of person. I just want to have a conversation and just get to know the person, see what their likes are. Can they be part of a team? Because that's, sales is a team kind of an atmosphere, right? So, that's the biggest thing that I look at there is just, can somebody have a conversation? Because in sales, you have 5 seconds. You have 5 seconds to determine if somebody likes you or not,
Well,
right?
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
What do you look for in 5 seconds?
As me as a sales
you're
guy?
a general. We'll get to general manager,
Yeah,
Junge,
yeah.
but what do you look for now in 5 seconds?
As a sales guy, you're talking with clients.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
sales
If you're a client, other salesperson, you said you could determine what 5 seconds. What are you looking for, or what do you see?
And
Or
a
what do
guy,
you think?
and a guy, I'm looking to make sure that he can answer questions right away. That he knows exactly, very confident, knows exactly what's going on around him. Knows what he's trying to accomplish. He or she's trying to accomplish as
You
well.
only got 5 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So you just went through 30 seconds. You went a couple minutes. So what are you looking for in 5 seconds? Then I'll tell you what I'm looking for. By being around it 50 years.
confidence. Somebody that knows
How
exactly
do you
what.
portray confidence?
What?
How do you see confidence?
Just somebody that's sitting straight up, eye to eye, looking at you, making sure that they
There you go.
that they know who they are as a person. Just the confidence in their way that they handle themselves.
So can I tell you what I look at?
Yeah, yeah.
Eye contact, shake my hand, and shake it strong.
Good shake hand. Yeah, yep. That's
You
always
can't
been.
shake it, can't look at me, you're out.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
There's your 5 seconds.
Yeah.
3 seconds.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at the number of people that can't look at you. They got their head down, they can't shake your hand.
Can't do any of that, right? Yeah. I mean, that's obviously, yeah, that's huge.
But it's obvious, but it isn't
Yeah.
to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm,
They don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
That shows me lack of self-confidence, and they
Yeah.
haven't practiced it. And I think you could practice it.
Yep.
But it depends on what you want to be.
Yeah.
But at confidence, shake a hand and look at them.
Yeah.
And also when you're talking to him, look them in the face, look them in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking away, you're not confident.
Yep.
Something else is going on. That's just my 2 cents.
The other thing that I tell the guys when they go out and kind of greet a customer is sunglasses. It goes with the eye contact.
Yeah.
You can't have them sunglasses
No.
on. Like, what are you doing?
Put them
out
on later,
Yeah,
but just say, hey.
there? Yeah.
Yeah. And another funny thing that I've seen in sales, and we'll get into this, I think, is have you ever been in a restaurant as somebody, you look at them and go, how's your day going? What do they say?
Oh, good.
Great, fine.
Yeah.
But you don't follow up with it.
Yeah.
Because that's just a response.
Mm-hmm.
Next time you go in and say, no, really, tell me, how is your day going?
How's it going? Yeah.
Hey, I notice you're kind of scurrying around.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a family? Do you have kids? Everybody's so afraid of that. But what I found in restaurants or in service business, if you just open up a conversation and ask some questions,
Yeah.
and obviously be interested, not just screwing around, playing around with it,
Right.
but guess what happens to those
Genuine
people?
conversation.
They
Yeah.
start opening up.
Yeah.
You find out where they're from. You find out what they like to do.
Yeah.
School, whatever,
Yep.
I have a lot of fun with people in restaurants, a lot of fun.
Well, you have a lot of
Because
fun
nobody
every day.
talks to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They take them for granted.
Mm-hmm.
To always tip in cash.
Mm-hmm.
That's another tip.
Oh, yeah.
Always tip in cash.
Yeah.
No, everybody's just cards. No, give them cash. They earned it. They
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're tax and tips. I don't know how all that's working with
Yeah.
the current administration, whatever's going on. But people don't do that. And it's just such a simple thing.
Yeah.
But next time, take the time to actually establish eye contact and talk to a waitress or waiter.
Yeah.
Watch what happens. Then next time they see you, they're going to wait on you and take care of you and your family. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just a way to go. Because
Yeah.
just a little bit of appreciation.
Yeah.
The person that you walk in, you see the secretary or somebody behind the desk. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Beautiful day, isn't it? Most people,
Yep.
and it's just that little stuff like that. And
Yeah.
you'd be amazed of how much better you feel and their feel.
Yep.
Like, hey, he actually took the time.
Yeah. We went to Disney. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know. You want to talk about customer service, right? Disney is unbelievable. So I came back from this Disney trip and established this like 3-foot rule. Anybody that's in the 3 feet radius of where we're at in the store, we need to make sure and acknowledge it. We need to make sure and acknowledge them and see how their day is going. And like you just said, it's not just, hey, how's the day going? But
Yeah.
actually have a conversation. You have no idea what people's mindset is like
No.
turning out the day. You don't know.
Everybody's got issues.
Yeah,
Maybe the
yeah.
dog just died.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
somebody's sick. Maybe
Exactly.
grandma's got in a hospital. Everybody has that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody ever takes time. How are you
Yeah.
doing? And look at them and say, how are you doing?
Exactly.
As well, how are you doing?
And that could change a person's day. Like,
Absolutely.
100%. It just
It's
flip.
just like in a car business, you're in a technicians.
Yeah.
Hey, how you guys doing? I know it's a busy day. Really appreciate you getting this car out.
Yeah.
Where would that go?
Oh,
Oh, miles.
yeah. Yeah. Because
Because those guys get beat to. I mean,
Oh.
they're behind.
Yeah.
In the service part, and then the guys in the service department, who's happy in there?
Mhm.
A customer. why they get a hard time all the time.
We do, yeah. We joke,
Mostly.
yeah. That's difficult. It is that side of the business. You're taking an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, people are there for a problem, and you got to make the best out of that. You
Yeah.
got to give them.
Hey, we're trying our best. A
Yeah,
lot of times
yeah.
you just straight with them. Look, I know we troubleshoot. This is it, but we're doing this. We're going to get this.
Mhm.
Sorry for the inconvenience. You can always say sorry. Sorry for the inconvenience. I understand.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Go to let's switch. I don't know
Yeah,
where we're going
yeah.
with this. Let's go to an airline.
Yeah.
You ever been in line at an airline and watched somebody browbeat the person behind the desk? Kinda?
Oh. But yeah.
Happens all the time.
It does. It does.
And those poor people, all they're doing is they're playing on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any knowledge because they're only getting what they got on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when people start off, I go, hey, where are you going to go with this?
Yeah.
You're not going to get anywhere with
You're not-
this.
I mean, why was that person going to work hard for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if you come and say, you know what, I know you're busy. I know this is tough. The flight's been delayed. Blah, blah. You'd be surprised that once in a while they'll go a little extra for you.
Yeah.
Well, maybe go check with this. I know in COVID, there was stuff where you had to get in line and you had to go,
Yeah.
Well, you
COVID
got-
is different.
And I remember I just went to some lady. I go, hey, I don't know how to do this on my phone. Of course, you know me. I can't do anything on my phone. And she was helpful because I asked her nicely. And I said, I really don't know how to do that.
Mhm.
Everybody else is, kids are
Yeah.
into that. And I didn't. And she was helpful.
Yeah.
But just that smile, just warm up a little bit because everybody's in their own world and they're so enthralled with it. They never take the time
No, they don't.
to really understand where that other person's coming from.
Yep.
All right. Golf, Kirkwood. How did you get to car sales? Give me that.
Oh, we're gonna go.
Give me
real
the
back.
order. Here we go. Let's
Um,
get into this.
So take a step back. My childhood, I played for a little league team. It was called the Cedar Rapids Reds. They've done pretty well lately and have gotten huge. My dad and Pat McGrath were our head coaches and assistant coach. And so growing up, I actually grew up on the Chevy Land lot over there in Cedar Rapids at McGrath. And so I don't know if that's where I really, kind of got that love for the car dealership. But, we'd detail cars. We'd have take team pictures in cars, stuff like that.
You work for Pat?
So that's where I started. Yeah. So I ran 11 Verizon Wireless stores, and I was working on getting a business cell phone account set up for Pat. And we were sitting and talking, and he's like, you know what, you need to come sell cars. And I was kind of in this one of the reasons why I quit school too is because I actually had a daughter.
I got to go to Verizon for a second. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
You ready? You're
Yeah.
a Verizon guy.
Yeah.
Take
Long
a
time ago. Remember that.
Take
but-
a number, stand over here.
Yeah.
Stand outside.
Yeah.
The most impersonal, worst service.
I'm not with
I
Verizon.
don't want to ditz on them because
Yep.
I have it, but it just seems like, can you improve your customer service? Take a number and stand outside. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or do you agree?
No, it's when it's a busy store,
Busy, yeah.
it's hard.
Is it
diff-
because
it's
of lack of
definitely-
personnel, lack of staff? Is it understaffed? Is it?
Well,
It just seems like
understaffed part, and then everybody. I mean, obviously, we all have cell phones. It's a huge part of our lives. I think in more locations, a lot of stuff now. I've noticed that they do a lot of stuff online. I've noticed also. I mean, I'm with US Cellular right now, so they're you can do anything from sitting in your kitchen
so
now.
that's
So
part of it.
yeah,
Okay.
the tough stuff. The tough stuff. Yeah, I get it.
It just
it's-
seemed from a
it's-
customer service man. I don't know who's running these things.
Yeah, I mean, when you
Maybe
say-
it's a point where you have to have it. So what are you going to do?
yeah.
See, I don't like that attitude.
Yeah.
Even
That's-
though I got to have you, you can still treat people differently.
Yeah, that's it is a tough customer service industry because there's just a lot of help that needs to be done with setting up phones, a lot of stuff you can do through it.
Back
so.
to detailing for Pat.
Yeah, so that's where I started, and then he told me to come sell cars for him. Was going to be a young dad, didn't know what I was going to do, and I just loved the car business. And from that point, I went into finance for him and did finance for about 8 years. And then after I worked with him, it was hard to leave.
What's finance?
Um,
You get when you're selling a car. When it comes to the details, you go to the finance manager.
Yeah. Yep. So
Paperwork, the finance chart, or
Yeah.
borrowing the money, or what?
So the finance department actually is actually a huge time saver for customers. All the local lenders, national lenders, we all partner with them. So what I tell a lot of people is like kind of going to Best Buy. When you go to Best Buy, they don't just have one TV, right? They got a whole thing of TVs, right?
They all look great to me.
Yeah, you're right, and they're all there. So it's kind of like that finance department. We have the best of the best banks, and we want to find that best
So you can do
rate,
that all
whatever,
at the.
all it's sitting there. Yeah.
Oh,
The
that's
guys take
cool.
care of it. There's different protections and stuff.
So
that
you
can
have a
kinda go.
service.
Yeah.
That's definitely a service,
Yes.
right?
Huge service. Yep. So
If somebody comes in and say, I use so-and-so bank, you go, well, here's what these guys have.
yeah, we want to send back. We want to send you back to obviously where you have a relationship. But if we can save you some time and money, elsewhere, we definitely look at doing that. But that's a huge part of the industry. Definitely, you want to make sure your ownership experience is the best, and that's one way that we can do it. We call it a Junge game plan now, where we make sure that you're taken care of not just today, but weeks, months, years down the road, and that's kind of that's how we do that with the finance department. So, but yeah, finance was my first love of the car business as well. Like
8 years where?
McGrath, yep.
Okay.
And then went to Billion over in Iowa City, worked up
South
there.
Dakota.
Yeah,
Credit
those
card
guys,
guy,
yep.
Credit card.
Yeah.
People don't realize that's where the money came from.
Yep. Dave Billion.
Grandfather, somebody was in credit card business.
Yep.
Gets a 0.5% of whatever the MasterCard or whatever it was.
Dave Billion was I got to meet him twice, and he was.
I met him.
Yeah, he's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Very attention. He's kind of like attention. Like
Was
when
he?
you're talking,
Was
you
he
get
did
attention.
car for fun? Is invested in.
Yeah,
kind
and then
of a fun thing.
for fun, and then real estate business for that. I think when I was there, his son wasn't into the cars, so he just sold him the land that all of the dealerships were on, and I think that's kind of how he's keeping it into the business. I'm not sure if he's around anymore or what's going on, but I do still talk with Levi Walker and Frank Giuliano, those guys up there.
Levi's a general manager.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's of the whole campus. Yeah, he's a
So-
great guy. Yep,
Okay.
yep. But I left there because the Junge name. Great guys, blue collar. Gary Junge built a lot of his business with his own hands. A lot of people don't know this. He started on 16th Avenue in Cedar Rapids, right next to Leonardo's Pizza. You ever heard of that?
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Great pizza.
What year?
72. 72.
I was a junior in high school.
Yeah.
Just trivia. So Gary's got a few years.
Yeah,
on me.
exactly. He's started as a standard oil station. So service, we're very service oriented. That's where
Well,
that comes from.
Let's go to Standard Oil. Do you know what in 72 happened? You pulled in a gas station?
Is it?
I'm testing you.
This is
Somebody'd come out and wash your windshield.
Yes, I was going to
Check
say
your oil.
self.
How
Yeah,
can I help
yeah,
you?
Yeah,
If somebody did that there, you think you're getting robbed. Get away from me.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and they pump your gas.
Yep. Pump your gas. Self service, right? That's the big thing. Yeah.
Well, there wasn't self-service. It was full service.
Yeah, full service. That's right.
Then a guy'd
Full
come
service.
out and wipe your window. You go the back, your wipe, everything.
Yeah.
Anything. Put on wipers for it, whatever you needed
Yeah.
for your car. So you always felt, it's weird, but when I as a kid, you felt good going to a gas station.
Yeah.
It was service.
Yep.
Now there's nothing.
Yeah.
Just candy and junk and iced tea.
Energy drinks.
Yeah, energy drinks. Yeah. You're just racing around. There's no service.
Yeah.
So back in the day, Standard Oil, Texaco, and they also were mechanics.
Yes, he was huge. Yes, very
I'm
good
sure he's a
mechanic. Yeah.
mechanic.
Yeah, he even told me about some times where he fixed the pizza ovens over at Leonardo's back in the day, and they'd give him a beer or something for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got the beer after he fixed it. Right?
Exactly.
He didn't
Yeah.
do it before.
Yeah.
But no, that's funny. So he understood service right as a kid.
Service
young
is the bread
man.
and butter. Yeah, like we I've worked. I'd say the three biggest dealerships in this area, and so seeing each thing that they all have great things that they do, but this dealership here, the service that they have. I mean, we put our vehicles through a huge inspect and make sure that they are safe, reliable. They're ready for customers to drive right off the lot. Sometimes machines are. I mean, these vehicles are made by machines. We don't have crystal balls. We can't sit there and say everything's gonna be perfect. But we do put the best product out there that we can. What's given to us by our technicians.
And Gary will appreciate this with points, condensers, muffler. There's nothing in it. It's all computers.
Yeah, I mean
There's no gauge of what the spark plug should be gapped at.
Yeah, it's not.
What am I talking?
It's all plugged in. They tell you, but these technicians, they go through. I mean, they are doctors. Doctors. I mean, they go through so much training. It's crazy just to see what they do. I mean,
so if you bring a car in, open the hood, you just straight set it up on a computer.
Yeah,
they're looking at screens and diagnostics.
Yep, they're saying
kind of like a surgery.
Yeah, they're telling you what is wrong, and then they go in and fix that. And I tell you, we do when you buy a vehicle, we do a service walk, so you can kind of get to see behind the scenes and get to know some of the techs and see where parts is and see the service advisors. And it's not just those old cars that are getting worked on either.
Right.
Some of the new cars, they got some issues,
Right.
that just happened, and these guys got to know how to fix them. Electric vehicles is one. I mean, that was a huge change back there for some of those techs. Like, it's a game changer for not just for technicians, but front as well in sales. So yeah,
I can tell you a funny story and make fun of me.
yeah,
Remember that truck, that Lightning, whatever?
yeah.
I kept saying, well, it's not on.
It's
But
not
yeah,
on.
It is.
Yeah, it
You
is.
just can't hear it.
Yeah, that
I
was
can't hear it
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah.
But the electric vehicles, you don't even know they're on. They're
Yeah,
so fast.
when we went on that ride, that was a fun ride. That was
How
one of the
fast
first.
is that thing? Don't tell them I was speeding down.
No, I won't
I-3.
mind. You said it. That off ramp's definitely, yeah, it goes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It was like the only thing I can really say, a lot of people probably driven an electric golf cart,
Yeah.
and
Well,
just that instant. I mean, it's a lot
Yeah.
faster than that, obviously, but just that instant takeoff.
where are we going with electric? Where's that going? Is it still going to be a combo gas and electric? Where do you see that 10 years from now?
So 10 years from now, I see a 800 mile battery, that you can get pretty far. Okay.
Wow.
It's not there yet, obviously. So right now, I went down and did the Ford electric training down in Atlanta, and we went through a huge kind of 3 or 4 day event. Drove the vehicles on the Atlanta freeway, 4:30 in the afternoon, and I'm driving this Mach-E, and they say, "Let go of the steering wheel. Let go of the don't
There's
push the
6
gas."
lanes, right?
Yeah, I mean, and cars everywhere,
Wow.
and you got to let go. And I'm like, I can't do that, but I did. And then she's like, wave to the people next to you. And so you're driving down this and it's not just a straight shot either. You're going around, and it's just So as long as the vehicle can sense the lanes, it's
Well,
and it's not-
cameras are. Is that
yeah,
what it is?
yeah, cameras all over. Yeah, and it doesn't ping pong you back and forth between it's straight. So you're not kind of doing this wavy back and forth. It was intense, and I'm glad I did it, because that type of feeling behind the wheel you really don't get to experience. So
Pretty
yeah,
soon, I know
yeah.
the Tesla and stuff's working on driverless.
You
I've
know,
heard about those in LA. You just get in like a pod. I suppose
Yeah.
you've been out drinking all night. You want to hop in a pod or whatever.
yeah,
It is.
yeah. We were joking around. Jetsons. When I grew up, Jetsons was one of my favorite
yeah.
cartoons, and they were flying around in
Yeah,
the little.
yeah.
But I mean, is that next?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, is it going to be that way? But it's interesting to see what everything's come to.
What do you do with an electric car when you got 60,000 of batteries worn out? You just dump it, trash it.
So
You can't get a new battery, can you?
You can, but it's going to be you're probably still looking 8-10 grand just to replace.
Is it
those.
better just to lease them and run them out
Yes.
and turn them back?
Yeah, we 100%. There's some. I mean, I think I one person I can think of that didn't lease it, and it was a close friend of of the dealership, and he wanted the vehicle, but most people are leasing. Yeah, put it back on the manufacturer. After the 3 years is over, they take the vehicle back from you.
Then what do they do?
Yeah,
Put a new battery, or who cares?
well, that's the thing. We're starting to run into that more and more now. So I do a lot of buying for the store. So used cars, going on the auction and seeing what's out there. And you're seeing those off-lease electric vehicles showing up a lot more now. They're putting their own warranty on them. So manufacturers putting another warranty on it, after the fact warranty. So they know that they're going to run into an issue with the used market. I think there's even like a used tax credit that you can even still get when you buy a used vehicle. It's got to be under $25,000, and you get like $4,500 rebate back on that too. So there's still some stuff out there that in the right ownership experience, the cars make sense. Like, it's got to it can't be your own car, your only car. You got to have a gas powered car.
Yeah, right.
This is your kind of tool around.
Mess around town.
Yeah. Yep.
How many EVs are sold? Is it 5% of the market, 10, 20? What is it?
I'd probably say 5. It's not
Just 5%.
Yeah, it's not a lot. It's
Right,
not a lot.
right.
Yep.
I don't know. The hard part for me is just you driving across Nebraska. I'm not picking on Nebraska. My wife's from Nebraska. I get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you plug that in?
Another
Thing is, my attention span's about 7 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to plug it in for 20 minutes.
No.
I'm not going to do it.
And you're not even.
So I
gonna be able for 20
think you're
minutes.
right. I think you have another gas powered, and I think those are around town, or if you're like going 10 miles up, and
Yep.
that's where I sense that.
Yep.
I don't know about long driving across the country.
Well, and even when I went to that the Model E training for Ford, they said that. I mean, they told us, hey,
Yeah.
this isn't
Yeah.
something that you're going to tell
Right.
the guy that drives across country that this is the car that you should buy. Like, that's the
Right.
thing, is you got to be up front. You got to let people know. We do it's called a CNA, a customer needs analysis. With every customer comes in, we sit down, gather information. That's one big thing that I think is different about our dealership, is we want to listen to customers. We want to hear truly what they are trying to accomplish, right?
Right.
A lot of places you just go try to sell that car, but you sit down with a customer, you actually figure out what they're trying to do, and you be honest with them. Like, if somebody comes in and like, hey, I'm driving from California to New York and I want an electric vehicle. No, you don't. I'm going to tell you why. And this hybrid vehicle is probably the best for you, right?
I think those are cool because you put gas in them, you can,
Yeah,
and that kind of gives you the best of both worlds.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
so you got electric cars. So tell me, so you started in service or detail, and you got into finance. Now where are you selling?
I did sell. Well, I sold for a little bit. Sorry, skipped that at McGrath for about 6 months, and then
How'd you like selling?
It was good. I love selling. Yeah, definitely.
Ups, downs. What do you call it?
Oh well, yeah, ups.
Hey.
Yes, you're right. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I turn in the up card
So,
and get credit.
Who
for it.
trained you? 50 calls a day? What'd you learn as a salesman 6 months?
So I have a big. I call them the big three. John McLeod, who's in Houston now, actually does some roofing stuff. Was one of the biggest. Sales people that I've ever been around. Just the influence
He
that he
worked
had.
for McGrath?
Yeah, he was a used car manager then, but just a very knowledgeable. He came up with the yes game. How many times can you go out and talk to a customer and have them say yes? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, if you get out there and you're just asking questions and the customer says yes 30 times to you in the conversation, what are they more likely to say when you ask them to buy the car?
Yes.
Yes, they're used to it. They want
You
to
know
do
what
it.
happens if you nod? They nod with you.
We nod with you. So
Do you like this BMW?
Yes. So those are just like little things that but just to follow up the confidence he had that. And then I had Scott Winker. Scott Winker was our GM at McGrath Chevyland, and I've seen and gone along with him throughout the years. Still to this day, we still talk. He's a Vikings fan too, just like me. But
I'm a Packer fan.
Are you? Well, that was a pretty cool draft there. But,
yeah.
So those, and then Chad Fisher, who's with Green State Credit Union right now, he was my finance director. Those three, really, I attest those guys to kind of where I'm at now.
How'd you get to the point of closing? You didn't use. You got to talk to your wife tonight. You didn't use it, right?
No.
And do you feel like most people want to negotiate?
Yeah, they do. I mean, I think that's one big thing that everybody says they don't want to play a back forth game,
Right.
don't want to do that, don't want to do that, and you try to listen more. I think that's what you listen to your customers. You don't have to negotiate as much. You know where you need to be and what to be and where they're trying to accomplish, and you at least try to meet in the middle. That's
so with the three mentors you had, how do you teach today? What'd you learn from them? How do you teach your salespeople?
So my first thing I have a training booklet that I go through, and the very first thing we train on is mindset. We've talked about it a couple times here. Everybody has things going on throughout the day. You leave that at the curb. We work a lot together, so we can kind of pick each other up. But mindset is the biggest thing when you walk into the door. How are we gonna win the day, right? How are we gonna get after it and win the day? But the biggest thing that we teach is listening. Just being different. Don't try to just shove a customer on a vehicle they don't want to be because it's old age or something like that. But just really sit down and just listening to the customer. And that CNA is the biggest part. The customer needs analysis that we use is the biggest part. And a lot of dealers use that. But do you really use it? Do you really sit down and listen? Is it really filled out? Do we, just try to figure out what's going on?
Are your salespeople on commission?
Yes, they are on commission.
Because I know Lynch doesn't do that. Where do you see the difference? I don't know about other dealers, but I just know they talk about where they're not paid on commission.
So commission is it's a way to kind of get guys to kind of get hungry, get after it, take that up. A fresh trade in, we want to turn that faster than something that just sits there. But I think the biggest thing is just the drive.
Is it the incentive?
The incentive, yeah. The incentive, the drive to get the guys to,
Do you have a certain amount of calls they have to make? How do you get them to hustle?
So we have a 25, 25, 25 rule, 25 phone calls, 25 emails, 25 texts. We have to do that a day. And then we have a big, how many are we doing for the month? So it's 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. And then we break that up by how many sales guys we have. And then
who are they calling? Phone book?
No, we have a
contacts.
It's called a CRM. It's a customer relationship management tool that it's just a management tool of customers. Internet leads, phone ups, and then it keeps track of them for us. One big thing that's gotten big in our industry is the AI everywhere. AI everywhere, right? So we have an AI bot that kind of talks to customers as well and kind of keeps them going, so we can have a conversation. It goes after some older customers too. So say you bought a vehicle 3 years ago, we don't want to, make
What's
it
older,
feel.
by the way?
Well, like 3 years, 3 or 4 years. That's the most. I mean, usually 3 to 4 years. That's how long people keep cars.
Usually, in that range.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years. So we want to make sure that we're still talking to our customers. We don't want to make it, but it can get. There's a lot of customers in that management tool. So it can be where we lose some customers every once in a while. We got to make sure we're staying on top of
And
it.
people stroll in and just see what they're up to.
Yeah.
So tell me about. I know in tariffs, how does that affect your business? And I know one of the things about tariffs was they talked about the Germans make the transmissions and engines in Germany, ship it over here to South Carolina, then Americans put it together.
So we're talking BMW right now.
BMW, yeah. BMW. Tell me, is tariffs affecting your car business as far as BMW? And we'll get into Ford here.
So how it breaks out is you hear like the X3, the X5, the X7. So that's called the X series. That's the SUV part of the BMW. Those are made in South Carolina, like you're saying, unless it has an M on it. So you can get an X3M. That's the big motor, fast, sporty looking vehicle. It's the signature of BMW is the M. Those are always made in Germany.
You mean the engines or the whole car?
The car.
The whole car.
Yeah, the whole car.
So the engines still come from Germany.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they're tariff.
Yeah. We haven't seen price increase yet, but the cars and those M series SUVs are all made in Germany. Yep. So I haven't seen any price increase yet. What I was told is June 2nd, production is going to stay the same, or the price is going to stay the same if it's in production on June 2nd. So we haven't seen anything.
Like,
it keeps getting pushed out. I'm hoping
they keep avoiding it or whatever, trying to get something negotiated. I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll get figured out.
So tell me what BMW stands for. I know, but people may not.
Bohemian Motor. Now you put me on the spot.
Bavarian Motorworks.
Bavarian Motorworks. Yes.
Test
Bohemian.
Failed. So tell me about a BMW. I mean that's Mercedes, BMW. German engineering, just German engineering in general.
I mean, there's a reason why it's called the ultimate drive machine.
Right.
You get behind that wheel and you just drive from a 2-door coupe with the sporty steering to the X7. I mean, I just took my family to Drake softball game. My wife's sister had her senior day, so we drove to Des Moines and I was driving that, and you know how 80 can get a little, bumpy, but it's just smooth. It really is the ultimate driving machine.
So the thing to answer it is drive one.
Oh, it is.
I mean, that's the only way you could describe it is you got to get in one and drive one
and hear it. There's still a rumble to the BMW that some people want to still hear and feel, and we're talking electric and we're talking hybrids and stuff like that, but you can still get behind that wheel and feel driving.
You feel like there's more innovation with BMW.
Yeah, definitely. They were working on a hydrogen X5. I don't know how far they've gotten along with it yet, but I saw an email, and it's out there. But that's interesting. Think about that, a hydrogen motored vehicle.
You'd have a little tank on the back.
Yeah, Now we're talking Back to the Future stuff.
Because I think they had hydrogen in trucks. Didn't they used to have or propane?
Propane.
Maybe it was propane.
Yeah, propane, which is, still, that's
crazy innovation.
Yeah.
So every year do you go to Vegas to the car show?
I have not. I've gone to the Chicago one, but I have not gone to the Vegas one. So.
And I understand your favorite movie is Ford versus Ferrari.
That is one of my favorites.
What a great show.
We've talked a lot about that. Oh man.
When Mr. Ford gets in with Matt Damon, who was the guy from Texas at Mustang. He created the Mustang. Carroll Shelby.
Carroll Shelby. Yes.
Hop in.
That movie. I'm gonna watch it again too because that
he said my daddy'd be real happy with this one.
Yeah.
But to take on Ferrari was. And you still see, is it the GT? What do they call it? GTS? So sport?
No, the GT. Ford GT. Yep.
I was in Naples like 2 years ago. I don't know what I was doing. I've seen some friends. And they had all these Lamborghinis and Bentleys and all that. It was just stacked up in Naples. And they had one of those GTs.
Aren't they fun to see?
Oh, I mean,
oh, yeah.
I mean, stacked up against the Lamborghinis are, I don't know what 350 for.
Yeah.
But this GT is just like,
We had one on our Cedar Rapids showroom for like 3 or 4 years ago,
Oh,
and it was just fun to walk
did you
around
drive
sitting.
it?
I didn't drive it. I should have. It was in the
Yeah.
showroom, so
Well, tell Gary you got to send you over to Germany. You got to drive on the Autobahn,
yeah,
the
yeah.
BMW.
That would be nice.
That'd be fun.
That would be nice.
Because you're running $1.50 and nobody cares. They're just driving around.
Yeah,
150.
just the person next to you is driving the same
Yeah,
speed.
yeah,
So.
everybody's going.
yeah.
I think they started those in World War II to get the equipment up and down.
Oh,
why
is
they
that
had
what
the
that was?
Autobahn. I think it was.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
So if you're so you're into salespeople, training salespeople, business good?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was thinking about when I was getting ready this morning, thinking about what we're going to talk about, and I knew you were going to ask me how business is. Business is, since COVID, it was weird, is what I called it. It was a little different. You kind of just day by day figure it out.
How'd you get through COVID?
You
With masks and people wouldn't get in a car. What'd you do?
It was hard to get cars, obviously.
Right.
But it was all about builds. It was all about custom builds.
right.
Put
Online, do
Yep.
it. We can't see you.
Yep.
That must have been hard.
It was very interesting, and it strengthened your sales process. As to really defining how you orders. The order game wasn't really around. I mean, you had people that ordered vehicles, but nobody really thought about
The old
it.
days where cars would come in October and you had a bunch of selection, walk on the lot and bought it. That's gone.
I mean, just think about how full those lots used to be, right? And they're just not there no more.
Yeah.
They're getting better, and I felt like it was getting better too here. Coming up this year, obviously with business, and it's getting better. But now with with the tariff talk and everything, now is the time to buy a new vehicle. Like you saw Ford come out with
That's
from
a heavy
America for
discount.
America. That's a huge discount.
Right.
And a lot of people think, oh, it's just the employee discount. But no, it's the direct from Ford employee discount.
Yeah.
Like I work for Ford because we have a Ford's. I don't even get that price.
Right.
Like this is like
Serious.
the ultimate savings on the Ford vehicles. Yes.
One of the reasons why I like Ford was that they didn't take the bailout. What was it, 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
GM did, and I don't know who else. Chrysler? Well, Lee Iacocca, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But Ford said, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Good business model.
Yeah.
And then back to COVID is obviously used cars were so high, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just
Couldn't get them.
No, couldn't get them. A lot of times you buy a vehicle and you trade it back in a year and you
Yeah.
got more than what you paid for it, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of flattened out, finally. And then when the tariff talk, used car prices is back up again. So that's why I'm saying it's you got the best pricing out there right now for new vehicles, and you're getting a very honest price on trade-ins. So I think that's the best way to think of it right now. how
Why
business is.
Junge? Why
Jung-
buy from Junge?
Been around for over 50 years.
Okay.
They, like I said, the blue collar. Gary and Jason are in the dealership, in the trenches. I mean, they're hands-on owners. We want to listen. We want to make sure that our customers are in the right spot. When they leave, they're happy. And the service oriented. I can't say that enough. Service starts everything, right? With us, a used car comes in, it goes through service. A new car comes in, it goes through service. Make sure it's safe, reliable, and that's the mindset we have there.
Okay, good. Well, definitely. I'm a customer of it, and I
Yeah,
understand it and
yeah,
love it, by
yeah.
the way. And it is great service. All right, we're going to finish with three things. You
Got
ready?
it. Yeah.
Who's your hero? Who's your highlight? And your hardship? You can do them in any order, however you want to go. Hero, highlight, hardship in your life so far.
Hero would be, oh, yeah, that's a tough one to pick one. I'd say my father, my dad.
Why?
We didn't have a lot growing up, and to move a family away from all of our other families still up in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Okay.
Yeah, so they're still up there, and to be a dad at 18 years old,
Oh,
and get his engineering degree, and the stories that they have of having 3 kids. So so I have an older sister, then me, and then my brother, and we're 2-3 years apart. So a young family moving them to Iowa to work for Collins, who I think they started in '89 maybe, in Coralville is where he started, and picking us up and bringing us here. That takes a lot of guts, and you want to talk about mindset. You definitely have to go through a lot to be successful in that. And then just his ability to get the best out of people. He was a coach of mine, of my brother, of my sister, and just the the ability to be able to have a conversation with somebody and make sure they understand what they're talking about. There was some tough love still, you know, I mean, when you didn't do what he asked, but it was for a reason. And so I think to this day that's a lot inside me. Um, you know, a lot of people ask, well, why didn't you coach or why aren't you a coach? You know, and I truly think in the car business, it is a team atmosphere. I mean, we're all one team. We got to be going the right direction. We got to be talking the same way. So I think I'm a coach as well, and I got that from my father and from
Good.
you know, and it goes even further than that. You know, my grandparents they're all the same way too. So, but I really lean on my dad a lot, and he's been there for me for a lot of stuff.
Highlight.
Oh, highlight. My highlight would be my sister.
Hmm.
So, and I don't want to get emotional because this
All
was
right.
this was a hard time in my life. When I was a freshman,
High school.
high school, my sister was a senior, and she was, um, in my eyes, the best softball player I've ever seen.
Hmm.
You know, she played for Larry,
Pitcher?
no, left field. Played for Larry Niemeyer at
Oh,
Jefferson.
Niemeyer. Yeah.
hmm
Heard of him.
They won 2 state tournaments while she was there. But the thing that happened to her was her senior year, she had a bacterial meningitis.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just eat you alive. Right?
Oh, it was
Arms, legs?
viral. So she was in a coma for 4 days,
Oh.
and they
Did
were.
you go see her in a coma?
Oh yeah, I was up there.
Iowa?
This was Mercy and Cedar Rapids.
Mercy Cedar?
So this is around 2000, and they were telling us that she was not going to be the same coming out. This is how it's going to be, and so they're talking she might not even wake up. So I remember sitting in the hospital room, and there was one time she kind of sat up and pulled out all of her IVs. That was one of the scariest times of my life, and she laid back down, and these doctors and nurses came running in,
Hmm.
and I'm not knowing what's going on, and I'm thinking I'm going to lose my sister, right? And it was tough, but the highlight of it was she got out of it. She has a weak immune system, so she has to live somewhere warm. So she's in North Carolina now, but she her first game back, she made it back for the game, and she had double vision, and I remember her first at bat. I don't know how she hit the ball, but she says she just aimed for the middle, and just seeing her come back after that playing, and
How old was she?
so she would have been 18,
18?
17, 18, senior in high school. Yep, and then she went and played softball in college and everything.
Double
And
vision got away. and
it
went
did
away.
eventually. It did
Eventually.
eventually get away, but from such a a hard, she battled. She's strong. She's very strong. She battled, and to get back and to play again was just unbelievable. I remember that game. The news, the reporter, everybody was there. It was a huge, huge, huge thing, and just to see that, that a lot of our conversations about mindset. Could you imagine that? I mean, it's
So you watched her,
unbelievable.
you thought you were going to lose her.
Yeah.
Then you saw how resilient she was. So
Yeah,
she obviously taught you a lot.
yeah, yep. She
You
did.
still in contact with her?
Yeah, I mean, as everybody
She
gets
get
their own
older, yeah.
families and kind of go their own ways, we still talk, and we don't talk about this much, so that's why I'm trying not to. I'm doing well right now, so I usually don't do too good talking about it, but yeah.
Well, it's good to know. Okay, so we did a highlight. What about hardship?
Well, when you say hardship, what do you mean? What do you
Whatever you want to talk about. Kind of sounded like you talked to that with your sister was a hardship.
Yeah, that at one point, yeah.
I guess hardship would be a life lesson. There's something really difficult for you.
But an individual or just me myself?
I'd say more you. What
So-
hardship you've been through.
That transition from when I was a young dad myself, I had a 2-door Grand Am with a
Yes.
yeah, with a baby seat in the back of it, right? Like, and I at that point in my life though, I sat there. I could have sat and been like, you know what? I'm just going to give up, right?
You're a young father.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
old?
20, I mean, I think young, 22,
You had a baby.
Yeah, and it didn't have anything going. I mean, I was working at Rockwell, which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, but it was kind of a summer help thing. It wasn't a full-time gig. I was also working at Foot Locker, so and playing slow pitch softball every night, and doing that whole thing. But
So you're wandering around.
Yeah.
You didn't have any focus goals. You're
Nothing.
just-
But when my daughter Ella was born, I made a decision that I was going to give her the best life I could, and that might not be with her mom or anything, we're split, but still giving Ella the best life I could. And I truly believe that I have done that and made sure that she not only sees hard work, she sees dedication, she sees the love, she sees things that she can differently, from somebody like me. We grind, we work 80 hours a week. And I've been doing that now for 18 years, so it's just.
How old's Ella?
15 now. Yeah.
She a sophomore?
Sophomore at Prairie. Yep.
Prairie?
Yep. Prairie. Yep. She's sophomore at Prairie. Good. She's doing well. She's cross country track. She's doing
so your hardship is setting an example for your daughter.
Yeah.
And making it happen.
Yep. And also my other kids. I got Ava, Penelope, and Miles, 8, 6, and 4. So she just turned 7. Penelope did 8, 7, and 4. And just, I'm not always around. My wife, she's a saint, love her to death. She is the backbone of our family. And
you married up, right?
Yeah, I married up. Definitely married up.
You outkicked your coverage?
Yeah.
I did too. Well, you know that, right?
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
So, this has been great. So now we know that developers and car salesmen are human. Huh?
Yeah,
a
exactly.
little more.
Yeah,
because a lot of times people don't think we are.
I don't think so, right?
So
and we got heart. That's in the car business. A lot of people think the old used car guy with the gold chain eating popcorn and there's a popcorn break,
well, that or Spanish peanuts or something.
Yeah.
All over your shirt.
Yeah. But we're there for our customers. We're there for our community. We really want to make sure everybody understands that we sit and listen. We want to hear what you're trying to accomplish. So that's a big thing of the car industry these days.
Well, Ryan, this has been fun.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you've had some
I was
fun.
a little nervous, right? Yeah.
Well, you never know what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
right?
no, exactly. Yeah.
Well, great to see you and have a great one.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.